Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clyde from Africa Media Australia, and tonight on this edition of African Knowledge, we will be talking about entrepreneurship and cosmetics. We know that it is important for minority communities such as the African Australian community to be entrepreneurial. We see that in many other communities that have settled here in Australia before us, whether you talk about the Jewish community, the Indians, the Asians, and Africans are following suit. There's a lot more businesses being created by African Australians, but it's still not as much as we would want to see. But we want to talk to those who are taking that steps to venture into entrepreneurship with all the risk, challenges, and opportunities that involves. Tonight we'll talk specifically about cosmetics, which is an industry that is actually quite competitive, but people like us with dark skin in a market that is dominated by white population, it's actually quite challenging to find all the products, especially for women. And cosmetics is mostly for women. I mean, men too can have some cosmetic, and we'll talk about that with our guest tonight, who is none other than ADJOA MKWANANZI. ADJOA, how are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm amazing. How are you? How are you doing?
Good, good. It's been a while, hasn't it?
It's been too long. It's been far too long.
All right.
It's good to be here.
How have you been coping with COVID and everything else?
Oh, well, COVID has really put a hold on a lot of things. At the moment, as a makeup artist, I'm not able to practice and do makeup on other people other than myself. So it's a little bit difficult in that aspect. But in saying that, I've still got my cosmetic line, which is XM Cosmetics, that I'm still kind of pushing and encouraging. But due to COVID, people can't really wear makeup or do anything to go anywhere aside from maybe taking care of their skin and making sure that they look after it well enough so that when it's time to be able to put makeup on, they've got a really nice base, a really nice canvas to work on.
Okay. Well, I certainly agree that given that these days we can only go from the bedroom to the living room to to
We've
the
got very short
garage,
space.
we're not going much everywhere, so it's difficult to put makeup on, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. Except for those who want to kind of practice their makeup wearing skills, or practice their makeup application skills, then they might have to do it. But then again, it stays within the household, or maybe you can pop outside very near your house and take some photos and kind of try it on. So with that said, I still have individuals who want one-on-one makeup classes. So with that, I'm doing it by Zoom, where people can practice and kind of they get involved with some of the trends that are happening on Instagram. So they practice their makeup and then maybe do a trend, let's say, dance to this music or dance to that music in that sense. So people are becoming creative in a sense, but often most of them will say it's better to do face-to-face makeup classes anyway. So they are trying to try and get the most out of what we're currently facing. Yeah.
All right. Before we go a little deeper into the whole topic of entrepreneurship and in your industry, cosmetics, let's just talk about you, the person. Tell us what led you to go into this business and give us.
Geez, where do I start? There's a lot to share. So I get excited when I get asked to tell my story like this. It's very personal to me, and it's very fulfilling to be able to share with you, the audiences, or with people that are around me. I got into makeup, or I started showing interest in makeup on my own wedding day, 11th of November 2011. So I had a makeup done on me, and at the time where I was meant to be walking along the aisle, my husband couldn't even recognize who I was. Prior to even going to the menu where we were meant to get married, I looked at myself and I couldn't recognize myself. And I kind of thought I looked very different. I looked ashy. The color wasn't matched right. My eyebrow was something else. My lipstick wasn't one that matched me well. And not only that, I went past that. I mean, my husband recognized that I looked different. In fact, he wished that I had come barefaced without the makeup on. But past that, it went on, and the photos came out for the wedding. In story short, I had a look at the wedding photos, and honestly, up to today, I find it very difficult to put my wedding photo up on the wall for people to see the very day that I felt joyous, the very day that my heart melted into somebody else's, if that makes sense. I cannot put my photo up right up until this day. And I'm kind of like, it's just recently that I've learned that although I had that experience, I can give a positive experience to someone else who is about to get married or who's wanting to go somewhere where they want to look nice, attractive, and feel confident in themselves. I would say on that day, on my wedding day, the confidence was completely out the window. I was suddenly shy. I wasn't myself. So it goes without saying that the way that a person looks has everything to do with how they feel deep within inside. So that was when I started to think that, hey, hang on, this is what has happened to me. Is there something that I can actually do to help someone else? So I did makeup courses both online, and I also did makeup courses in New Zealand. I've come from New Zealand, so I did some courses there, and I also trained with some of international makeup artists who worked one-on-one with me, plus other makeup students as well. And I grasped some skills which led me to where I am today. And I think the majority of what I learned is by me doing makeup on other people. I found it very helpful, and of course myself, but by doing makeup on another person other than myself, it gave me the essence of how I could get it better, not only for melanin complexions, but for people, for instance, of a fairer skin complexions that have been disadvantaged in having makeup that looks so good for whatever their occasion might be. So that's what led me in. And that also generated onto the cosmetic side of things, because I thought to myself, if I can't have access to makeup that suits me, how can anybody else that's of my complexion have makeup that will suit them? So why not create something that will be beneficial for myself and everyone else who is struggling to find makeup that looks amazing on them?
Wow, that's quite a story, and
That was made short, actually. It was
not the
quite a
short version
process.
of the drama. Absolutely. So I suppose you turn a pretty negative experience into a positive one, into a business
Absolutely,
opportunity.
100%.
Actually, and that sort of shows how different things that may happen to us in life that may be negative, but every crisis, so to speak, has an opportunity that is hidden into it, isn't it? And that's how entrepreneurship starts.
Absolutely, 100%. And it starts with one idea and then it develops into another. So the more you do it, the more you kind of find creative ways on how you can improve people's confidence, on how you can provide or support people to welcome their own self-esteem in whichever way possible through the eyes of makeup. For instance, somebody might put an eyebrow, they might purchase an eyebrow, something for their eyebrow for a start. And they might come to me and say, ADJOA, is this eyebrow pomade or is this eyebrow pencil that I've purchased, is this something that you feel matches me? And that's where it starts for me. So what I do is not just about making people look beautiful, which enhances their beauty inside, but it's also educating and empowering women or men, those that put on makeup for whatever the occasion might be, whether it's music videos or whatnot, to be able to know the right product to buy for themselves.
Exactly. Now, what initially led me to invite you to come and talk to us and share your experience, knowledge, and insights on the show was I remember I read a story in the media a few months back where this woman was organizing some sort of protest against Coles and Woolworth because their cosmetic products only attend to the needs of the white population, the fair skin. There is not much about dark or brown skin. And she was wanting to make the point that these big supermarkets need to be able to attend to the needs of the multicultural communities and multiracial society that Australia is, rather than just focus on on the majority and the white skin. And I had quite a bit of discussion even in a forum that we have for the African Australian leaders, where it raised a bit of a discussion. Some people saying, well, you shouldn't protest. That shows it's this business opportunity there. There's a gap that needs to be filled. And others are saying that obviously these big businesses should recognize that Australia is changing, and they should have some type of a product that meets the needs of people of other color. What does this sort of thing brings to your mind?
Well, you know what? It's something that I've struggled with as well. Hence why I started making my own cosmetic line. For many, many years, it was quite difficult for me as a makeup artist even to find cosmetic or foundations, for example, that suited medium to darker or deeper complexions. And it's unfortunate because a lot of the time when you went to the mainstream shops, either than specific makeup shops, bigger shops like Sephora or Mecca or whatnot, there wasn't, you're right, there wasn't really makeup that matched deeper complexions. And even if there wasn't anybody that could sufficiently match your skin to allow you to see that, hey, you too look beautiful on this product. It was more or less done, in complexions that were halfway, if I can put it that way, where you would find either too light or not even too dark, too light, or it just doesn't marry out, or maybe the formulation that they use is something that doesn't grasp our skin tone. So in that way, we don't even have the opportunity to reach out for that. So we just recently that, a lot of the dark skin individuals, like pop stars, they're coming up with their own brand. Like Rihanna, she's got the Fenty Beauty, and then we've got Lancome, which is I think is a European brand, if I'm not mistaken. They've got deeper shades. So there's a few cosmetics that are coming up, cosmetic lines that are coming up with darker shades. But even with that, you've got individuals trained within the stores where they sell those makeup who can't get our complexions right at all. It's still a struggle because when you go in to find a foundation, for instance, that suits you, they are more caught up in sales and selling rather than allowing you, or rather than giving you the opportunity to be able to grab a product that actually suits you. Our undertones are misunderstood the majority of the time, and the beauty that we hold as African women or dark-skinned individuals is misunderstood. A lot of the time we are told your skin is fine, you don't need any makeup. It's something that perhaps we didn't start off with growing up. But certainly in this day and age, makeup is a part of a lot of things. There are women like myself who want to feel and look beautiful to whatever occasion that we need to go to. And we need to be able to have access to products. Not only that, but access to people who actually teach, educate, and empower us to choose products that look amazing on us.
Absolutely. And I suppose there is actually a significant market that is growing up because the number of people coming to Australia from medium to darker sort of skin tone is growing, and that provide people like yourselves and others the opportunity to sort of build a business that eventually. I know it's pretty much a very competitive business, the cosmetics industry.
It is.
How do you cope with that?
It is actually. It's starting from scratch. Starting at fresh is always difficult, and I think it's even more so difficult. Like you rightfully said, there's a lot of bigger brands, and there's a lot of pop stars that are coming up with their own cosmetics. So for me, as a small fish in a big sea, where people are used to going into the big fish areas, if that makes sense, it's difficult in a sense that only people who know of me, or people whom I've done makeup for, or people who know that I've sell cosmetics that have actually tried it would tell another. It's quite difficult to put it out there because it's new, it's a brand new brand, and people are used to brands that have existed for quite a while. It's unfortunate that some of the things I'm finding difficult is our own people who are not willing to support your brand or support the things that you're doing, to support them. it's quite often sad, and in a way that sometimes you kind of feel that you are doing this because you're not actually imagining, you are them, you're exactly them, and you are them seeking the same thing that they seek, which you've got. But because your cosmetic line is not one that's perhaps well known, or it's not one that's among the big brands, there's a pause. There's the thing of, do I trust this brand? And I guess to some extent, you've got to trust something before you can actually go wild and get more of it, or talk to others about it. And I'm pleased to say that a lot of the people that have actually tried my XM cosmetic brand, they've come back and they've told people, but we need more and more people to try it, because these brands, I actually make the products myself, and I make them to suit people like you and me, other people who are of complexions that find it very difficult to find makeup that suits them, or to find to find a representative that will actually advise them of the sort of makeup that they can use on themselves for whatever occasion that they go into, that's more suitable for their skin, for their skin features and everything about them.
So we have
it's a push.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess it brings back to that sort of eternal question of community support. I've heard quite a few people coming onto the show that said, it's quite difficult to get the right level of community support that entrepreneurs, artists, and people doing things would like to be able to get. And what would you ideally see people do in the community to try? Because obviously, as you said, you're wanting to help people, but you also need them to help you to help them.
Exactly.
You're trying to develop this brand that is going to meet their needs. But in order for you to be able to do that, and you have to have a sustainable business. And the only way is that if they need to come and buy and tell others, what do you think should be done to try to encourage more this culture of supporting small businesses from our communities, which is obviously these businesses are helping us to meet some needs?
I think we need to build trust within ourselves to believe that we as Africans can actually do more than what we seem to, more than what we've seen that has been done in the past. And I think a lot of the time it goes way back where people are stuck in a position where they don't think that we as Africans are good enough to be able to do something that's good enough for them. So I think it's about empowering, it's about building trust, it's about sharing your experiences that you've had within these new brands, not even cosmetics as per se, but with any other brand that's developed by a black woman or a black person that's merging. It's about supporting one another to build us up, rather than degrading what we've got, rather than I don't even know what the right word is for saying it, but I think the majority of, how I can safely put it is Ubuntu. Ubuntu is a word meaning togetherness, bringing it together. So I think if we can work together as Africans, we can embrace something that's made for us and is made in such a way that it fits us like a glove. It's because of you. That's why this is made. It's because of the recognition that these things were missing. It's because of the recognition that there was a gap in the makeup industry. There was a gap where we as Africans felt, or I would speak for myself, I felt excluded from everything else that was included makeup wise. And now there's something that bridges the gap in between all of that. Why not support? Why not try? Why not build? And give it a chance and an opportunity for you to actually see that this is the product for you. So I guess it's spreading it out wide, those that know it, to say that, hey, there's a product that's made by a black woman that's right here. It's a product made by us. She actually makes these things herself, bearing in mind everything that she's gone through for herself as a black woman, trying to find makeup, trying to get makeup people that can actually do makeup right on the complexions. We just have to trust, support, and work together as a team. We have to be one. And yeah,
absolutely. And I suppose that's why, for example, in the US, you see this movement that is rising about buying black. I mean, buy black or hire black. which is the whole concept is about Black people supporting other Black businesses, because we need to build that economic power that we have. I see a lot of activities in our communities about cultural festivals and a whole host of things, spiritual activities. But when it comes to the need to build economic power, we're still quite behind in doing what we need to do to support entrepreneurship within our communities. Do you agree with that?
I agree 100%. And I think it goes without saying and thinking that a lot of the time, rather than supporting, in the experiences that I've had, rather than them supporting, it's an opportunity for them to actually degrade or bring you down to what you're doing. So it's, for instance, if somebody wants to purchase something of you because they can see that you're an African woman, or can you reduce the cost of this, or can you bring it down? But should they go to a store where they sell the same makeup, which has the same formulation, the same type of things that don't even match them, that don't even suit them right, they don't get given the advices that we as African entrepreneurs would give. They still go there and purchase these things. And then we've got us, where we are ready. We want to give you the advice you need. We want to be able to direct you. And you're asking us to put the price down. Where is the support in that? Where is the recognition in saying that you've got an amazing product right here? I want to give you everything I need to give you to buy that, because this is what I need from me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I know that's a bit of a problem as well, where sometimes, because I've got a business as well, and I deal with a lot of people. When I have to deal with some of my African brothers and sisters, they the issue of pricing, it becomes a problem. I mean, when the members of the broader community in Australia, they come to my service, I'm in transport. They you tell them how much you charge, they pay. If they don't like, they would go somewhere else. But when it comes to my own brothers and sisters, sometimes they just want to bring the price down, and I'm telling them, these prices are set for a particular reason, because they make business sense. But people don't always seem to understand that.
Yeah, it's a difficult ride, but I think it goes from way back, where we've always been taught that we're not good enough. So you get to a point where you can see your African sister or your African brother doing something for themselves, and you're straight away thinking it's not good enough. We are not good enough for what we're doing, not knowing that we're actually better than imaginable, because we're actually making and providing you with items or cosmetics that are yours, that are made for you, that are made with you in mind. So I think it's about ongoing education, and it's about people stepping out of that blanket that they've got around them, to think that, hey, this is my African person, this is my African people, this is how they work. I'm just going to go in and ask for discounts on a lot of things when I come and get my makeup done. I'm going to ask them to bring it down. I've gone to a point where now it's almost like, if it is that my service is not for you, then it's not for you. But I've gone to the extent of believing in what I do, knowing that what I do is amazing, and the service that I provide, for the majority of the people that have come to me, they've loved it. And I have people not even of my own background, but people from different ethnicities, Europeans, Pacific Islanders, they come in, and with them, they even want to applaud you and reward you for the work that you do. So my question is, why can't our people do that, when what we've got here, what we've worked so hard for, it's for them, it's for us, it's for me and you? So why is it that we can't support? Why is it that we can't embrace? Why is it that we can't work together to uplift, rather than always wanting to bring down?
Okay. We're just going to take a little break, and we'll be back in a short while. All right. Now, let's talk specifically about female entrepreneurship. I noticed that there's an increasing in a number of female entrepreneurs in the wider African Australian community. What do you think explains that? Why are more and more female getting into entrepreneurship?
I think people are touching on the creative side of things. You've got people that are actually making their own fashion clothings or bags or whatnot. People are beginning to see that I've got talent and I need it to show. And people are beginning to grasp the idea of, if I can see this person actually doing something for themselves, and they're of the same complexion as me, they're also an African. Sorry, they are also African. I can do it too. And I think some people are beginning to understand slowly but surely that we need to actually connect to be able to work together. We need to connect to be able to lift one another. Those that have the opportunity, those that have the interest to want to start, we need to be able to lift them up and say, hey, you're doing well. I've got this information that might be helpful for you as a new beginning entrepreneur. This is something that I started off with. This is something that might be useful for you as well. So I think people are beginning to see that there's an opportunity that mustn't be left behind. There's an opportunity for them to create something within themselves that maybe they've sat on for so long, or that maybe they've been told that they're not good enough to present. Now is the time for them to do that. And I think, being the COVID times, COVID has been going on for quite some time as well. People are beginning to see that they need to actually be able to create something of their own, something that is made by them, that will flourish, that will continue. So people are taking that opportunity in that sense. Yeah. So that's what I'm seeing more of. And I think it's amazing to see, because we need people to be able to showcase. We need people to be able to unleash the hidden talents that they've got. We've got a lot of talent to share. We've got amazing talents that need to come out. So it's wonderful to see. Amazing. It's absolutely wonderful to see.
Absolutely. And I suppose even in the African context, you see a lot of women back at home who do a lot of things in terms of supporting families. They've got little businesses here and there, even though they may actually be employed, but they'll still have something on the side. And that's sort of transpiring in the context of Australia. But obviously, in Australia, business is quite. It's not easy. It's a very competitive world. You do need to work hard. You do need to really, focus and make sure you know what you're doing and offer the best service for you to survive. Because the majority of small businesses that are created, actually die within the first 12 months. So, what sort of advice you would give to other women, wanting to launch themselves into a business, or they've just started and they are still sort of wondering what to do to make sure they succeed in their business?
I think it's about remembering or bearing in mind why you started in the first place. It's about holding on to what drove you to even want to start in the first place. And I think it's about believing that in business, there's always going to be a time where things don't seem like they're rising. But those are the times that you need to be on top of. You need to say to yourself that, it's not every day, or it's not every time that we get from point A to Z real quick. And for anything that speeds off so rapidly, it can only speed back down so rapidly. So if you can make a start, be consistent in what you do, believe in what you're doing, because when you're doing something that's going to involve other people, they're going to see your enthusiasm for that of which you want them to be part of. They're going to see the passion that lies behind that. And honestly, if you don't have passion, if you don't believe in what you're doing, if you don't have persistence, and if you don't have discipline, it's easy to just forget, because what's the point of moving forward? But if you've got that one thing, for example, for me, it was wanting to give back to another person the experience that I had that didn't go right for me. I want to make it right. So that's what pushes me. That's what drives me. So it's about knowing what it is that drives you to want to do what it is that you've decided to do, and focusing on that, and surrounding yourself with people that can actually push you. And for those that belittle you, for those that bring you down and say you're not good enough, you're not going to make it, or find crafty ways on discouraging you, don't even look back. Let all of that rise you up. Let all of that push you to bring you back to why you started, what you've started in the first place. And that's what I've done. I've basically just surrounded myself. I've got an amazing husband who's very, very supportive and pushes me. I've got friends behind me. When I did first start this whole makeup and cosmetics, I did have some friends who didn't believe and thought it was all a joke. They didn't know that I could do it. But now they're seeing how far I've come. And they're saying, hang on, this girl actually had passion. She believed in what she wanted to do, and she's still here pushing. And I think it's only a matter of time. My aim is to get it all across Africa, get it in as many countries as I can possible for people to see that, hang on, your makeup for you doesn't have to look bad like mine did for me. It can actually look better by getting proper education or advices on what you can actually use for yourself makeup wise, on products that you can buy for yourself makeup wise, and how you can actually choose makeup for yourself. So I'm not just a makeup artist, and I'm not just one that has cosmetic line. I'm one that teaches, encourages, and empowers women or anybody who sits in my chair to either have makeup done or to come for education. I want to be able to teach you how you can do your own makeup better than I had done on me when I first had makeup done.
All right. Let me just remind those watching. You're watching Africa Media Australia, and this edition of African Knowledge. Tonight, we are discussing entrepreneurship, female entrepreneurship, and cosmetic industry, and the needs that exist in this industry for people of mid to dark complexion. And ADJOA is an entrepreneur who is operating in that space. We encourage you to make comments and also ask questions if you want. She'll be able to answer, and I can see some people already writing their comments there. If you want to call as well, you can call and ask a question via telephone if you like. There's one viewer who's asked, is I suppose trying to make a call. If you do call us, we will potentially allow you to ask your question. Going back to ADJOA, now we know that in business, marketing is very, very important. In fact, I think marketing is what will allow a business to go from one level into another, and not only to survive but to thrive. How do you deal with the marketing of your product to make sure that you're doing the best you can to reach out to your client?
Yeah, well, look, at the moment, it's been proven quite difficult because, like we talked about earlier, there's a lot of makeup. There's a lot of everyone and anybody bringing on makeup, and there's the bigger brands that I'm competing with. So for mine, a lot of my marketing relies solely on people that have used my products, people that have done makeup on, people back home that are using the products. You know, people that have used it, they send photos, they tell each other. So it's word by mouth majority, and I think a lot of it is social media as well. And I've got a website as well, which I try and push forward for people to be aware of what it is that I've got. And I also provide education as well around the products that I've got, so that if somebody was to want to use the product and don't know what to do with it or how to use it, I provide education as well on that. So a lot of it is like I said, word by mouth, the majority of it, and social media advertisements, as well as website and everything else. And when I do makeup on people, I actually use the majority of it. I use my product as well as other cosmetics that I've got in my makeup kit to do makeup. So then, you know, person that I've never met before come in to do their makeup, they'll want to know what I used on them, and then I'll introduce them. So it's about, you know, introducing. It's like snowballing effect, really. You tell someone and somebody else tells somebody and someone tells. And the majority of my customers also are repeat customers, people that have used the product, that have absolutely loved it, that want more of it, and they come and keep buying more of it.
And do you see, because a lot of people think, for example, that social media offers a lot of good marketing. I mean, there may be a good marketing platform, but it's not for all businesses. Some businesses do not necessarily always get a lot of customers with social media. It could be good for brand awareness, where people sort of know about your business, but whether they actually come and you know, purchase the product or the service, that's a different matter.
Yeah.
So I suppose you're saying that your marketing works more by word of mouth.
Yeah.
What's the effectiveness of social media, for example, in your case?
Yeah. So I think the effectiveness of social media is allowing individuals who have not had the opportunity to be told by somebody they know that I'm doing this, or that I'm doing makeup, or that I've got cosmetics that's amazing. So with that, I kind of surround that with a bit of teaching. For instance, I'll say, what is the best way of taking care of your skin? What product do you use with this? Or maybe I'll present, you know, for instance, somebody that's got acne, lots of pimples on their face, and I'll say, you know, what is it? What sort of product would be suitable to try and deal with the problematic skin that the person might have? Or I can share my own examples. So a lot of it, I share my own examples, you know, showing before and afters of how I've dealt with specific problem that somebody else might be going through. And I think with all of that, it's just letting people see how what I've got works and how it can benefit them. And all of that is what I kind of put out there on the social media for people to kind of see and say, hey, here I am, I'm here. This is a service I provide, and this is what I can do for you. And there are times where I just kind of have an opportunity where I have people ask me questions, makeup related questions that they've not been able to ask other people, or they've not been able to get sufficient responses for. For me, having been doing makeup for almost 7 years or more, I'm able to provide sufficient information. And if I didn't, I'll always say I'll go back, find out, and let you know. So it's about just allowing people to be aware of what it is that I do. And sometimes with sharing on social media, it's not often that you would have everyone messaging you, this is what I want, I want to buy your product, I wanted that. But it's about ongoingly allowing them to know that this is what you do, and if they ever need you, this is where you are, this is who you are, and this is what, you know, you can help them with.
Yeah. And given what has been in the media, like I mentioned before, about this woman protesting against Coles and Woolworth for not storing the cosmetics for darker skin, have you sort of tried? I'm not sure if you were necessarily aware of that when it was happening, but if you tried, I suppose, to try to approach these organizations a bit more aggressively, eventually they may be more open when they start feeling a little bit of pressure to look at who is dealing in this space to meet this need that they may themselves not able to meet.
I think a lot of the time what they I haven't had the opportunity to personally target, but from what I know broadly, I think a lot of the time what they want is to be able to service, or looking at a small medium where they service specific individuals that buy specific products. So if they see that a lot of the lighter complexions are going, that's more, you know,
that's where the money is
they
for
will
them.
they'll be stocking up more of that. And if they see that they've brought a darker shade and that goes, they'll be bringing more of that. So it's about supply and demand, really. A lot of them do. Whereas if you went to the bigger makeup stores like Mecca or Sephora, they've got a wide range of cosmetics where you go in there and you've got options straight away. So is those little, you know, those little platforms where, you know, whether it's supermarkets or boutiques or whatnot, they've got a very short supply of what they have. And it's essentially for the people, the population that are in their surrounding area. And it goes without saying, the majority of the time, a lot of the lighter shades to perhaps medium shades are first on the list anyway. The deeper shades are always considered later. Like I said, it's just more of a recent thing where we have access to dark to deeper shades, complexions, products, foundations, and powders, as per se. So hopefully with time, we'll have more and more of that. But in my brand, XM Cosmetics, I've got the darkest to the lightest. So I'm not only catering for my people, I'm actually looking at where there's a gap that needs to be bridged, with bigger consideration for my people, if that makes sense. So I've got very, very deep complexions, and I've got light complexions as well. So like I said, I'm catering for the wider. but most of my product is made with my people in mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So and you make these products yourselves. How do
Yes.
you? I mean, is that whole process easy to source the raw material and then process them and get
Yeah.
the final
So what
product?
I do is I source the raw materials and then I make them here and I send them away to have it mass produced. So everything that I've got within my products, some I make within my own house. I've got set up where I make all my products, and for the ones that I need mass produced, I can't do it all. So I send it away to have it mass produced. But I am aware of all the ingredients that are within my product. So for instance, if somebody has a super sensitive skin, or they've got certain allergies to certain products, and they come to me and say, look, ADJOA, I want to buy your foundation. Am I able to use it because I've got acne prone skin, or I've got my skin is quite sensitive to specific ingredients, sulfate, specific ingredients that you've got that normally is included in foundations. I'll be able to tell them that, hang on, you can't use this, or you can use this. I'll be able to educate and to be able to point them in the direction where they need to go to have makeup that suits them, makeup that doesn't irritate them, makeup that will make them feel confident and beautiful when they wear it, without worrying about skin breaking down or worrying about it's affecting them because they've got that allergy, perhaps, for instance. So, and I've got quite a few products. I've got eyebrow pomades, I've got lipsticks, I've got foundations, I've got powders, I've got eyeshadows. So I've got quite several products. And for the ones that I don't, I still provide advice, like for individuals who would come to me and perhaps purchase foundation or powder, but they want another product that I don't have. I provide education as to where they can actually get it from that's genuine, that suits their complexion. So I'm all about enabling, empowering our people to embrace beauty within themselves, so they don't feel excluded at all. Nobody needs to feel excluded. We all need to feel included. And that's what I do as a brand. I enable individuals to feel included.
And do you source your products right here, or are there some
Right
that you
here. Right
okay.
here. Yeah.
So
Right
there's none that you get like from Africa or anywhere. You just you source here and then you just put it all together.
Yeah, but I am working on sourcing some from back home as well, actually having it made and me being physically involved in the making. Unfortunately, COVID has made things a little bit difficult, but we'll get there, something that will get there. For me, I've made it a point to support my people. So if I can source some of the ingredients that I use for my cosmetics from back home, it's me supporting my people who have started businesses as well, or who are wanting to do something for themselves because they know that they've got a skill that they need to use, or a skill that they need to allow the world to be part of and to embrace.
And I suppose it may also open some business opportunity for yourself, because besides sourcing the product, eventually you could look into selling the product that you make back to Africa, because obviously there will be people there who may be looking for product that meets their need, and yours might tick the boxes.
Absolutely. And that's what I actually do now. Some of my products I've got some in Ghana at the moment, which is going, and I'm hoping to stretch it to a few other African countries. South Africa, I'm working on. I'm hoping to stretch it to Rwanda as well. So because it's product made for our people, I wanted to reach our people. I want them to have the best of the best as well, because we don't need to feel excluded at all. So that's my aim, to be able to, in the long run, actually make the product within Africa. So I'm not sending it from here to there. It's actually made there. So we'll get there. It's a work in progress, but I am genuinely sure that we'll get there 100%.
And do you see the need for, I suppose, for Afro entrepreneurs here to have some sort of a platform to work together with Afro entrepreneurs back in the continent, because there are things that sort of we can complement each other, and there are opportunities there that entrepreneurs here may want to take opportunity of, and that entrepreneurs in Africa may benefit from, what entrepreneurs here may want from them. So do you see that needs to sort of work together and do business together?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I was actually meant to be going back home to Ghana in 2018. I think it was around when the COVID times began, 2018, going close to 2019. That was the idea, to be able to work together with other people that are in the similar industry, whether it's makeup artists or cosmetic, to be able to develop and work together to bring something beautiful. And I think it goes without saying, the majority of entrepreneurs that I know here, some that are making clothing, necklaces and whatnot, they're liaising very closely with people back home to be able to source that. So if we can all come together, I think it'll be powerful, because we've honestly got talents that people need to see, that we're sitting on, that we need to bring forth and allow people to be part of. And it's been missing for a long time, a long time.
But the challenge has always been how to put those things together so that they work. Sometimes people have good ideas and they really want to be able to work together and set things that can benefit each other. But the mechanics of the structure and the commitment that is needed to continue to make that platform work, that's often what creates issues, and then people have to be committed to make things work.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I think it's about believing in each other, and actually believing that you've got skills, you've got opportunities within wherever each person is, to be able to merge together to make something beautiful. It's about believing that you've got something that others need to see, something that you genuinely can work on. And it's about trusting and going forward and making something magical, if that makes sense. A lot of the time is the mistrust that we have for each other, is the thinking that you're not good enough, or you don't have the ability to do this, that holds us back. But if we can believe in each and every one of us to believe that we can actually do it, we can do it, and we can do it better, that goes far. That will take us so far than imaginable.
Absolutely. Now, let me take, I've got a few comments here that I want to mention. One from Kenyatta, who says, many of our businesses or services are not known to us, that could do with marketing, and planning issues. Can we create a platform to promote and share our services, or create an opportunity for entrepreneurs to present their service or product to the communities? I know AMA is doing a great job. Thanks for that. But I suppose that's all we're trying to do here. We've actually set up an African business network page, which has been ongoing for a little while. And there's people who are liking that page and promoting some businesses. But it has to be more than that. I guess the issue has always been, whenever you can create a platform today, but if there is no commitment that follows to make it work and get people to really commit to doing the little bit that we all need to do to make things work, often, it just remains an idea and the platform doesn't work. Perhaps, ADJOA, you may have a bit of insight in relation to what Kenyatta is mentioning here.
Yeah, I think what you've mentioned there is quite an important thing, Kenyatta. It's something that, unfortunately, it's difficult, and like you rightfully said, we need more and more of the platforms to be able to promote ourselves and promote other people as well. And I think it goes on the basis of what I said earlier. It's about not believing that we're good enough. It's about discouraging one another instead of uprooting one another to believe that, hey, hang on, we are actually good enough and we can even do better. So it's about people trying, giving as chance, giving entrepreneurs, Black-owned businesses, the opportunity and the chance to actually show what we've got, rather than shutting down quite quickly without knowing what it is that we've actually got to present. So we need more of the platforms. 100%, I agree that, where we can promote these things, because these things are made for our people. And we need them to be able to see that they are made for them. We need them to be able to trust that these things are actually made for them. And I guess it's something that over time, hopefully it'll come to light of a lot of our people, that we need to trust our own people rather than other people. Our own people have our best at heart, and we need to trust.
That is correct, and I can actually say this, that we will soon be launching the African Professionals and Business Directory. This is a project that we've been working on for quite some time. We did receive some funding from Scalan Foundation to help put this together in collaboration with the Afro-Australian professionals. So this will be a directory that will have not just businesses, but as many African professionals as possible, so that you may be today wanting to have help from an African plumber or electrician or makeup artist. Sometimes we may not know where to go. We don't have somewhere to go, but now we're going to be putting this so you can go on the African professionals directory and see not just businesses but also professionals. And we want to encourage professionals as well, who because there are a lot of people who have quite a lot of ideas and they want to go into business, but they don't necessarily want, they don't know how to go about it and what's the best thing to do. So besides having these records of the professionals and businesses, we will use that platform as well to have an ongoing conversation in a variety of industry where we're trying to identify who are the professionals and businesses working in this area, and trying to establish some sort of connection between them, so we know who is the leader in that industry and continue to actively promote that thing. I think having a directory will help to drive businesses within our communities, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%.
We do need to have a director. That has been missing.
Make a difference.
Yeah, because I remember a few months back, I was buying something for a bit of renovation work for my property, and I went to this Turkish shop. When I was buying that, this guy was actually selling me product he didn't have, but that he knew he could source from other Turkish businesses. They had a whole directory of all the Turkish businesses in Melbourne. They said, if you want somebody who can do tiles for you, well, I have a few here that I can recommend. That gave me an idea. I said, well, we do need something like this, because if we start thinking, okay, if I need something, whether it's a product or a service, I need first to think of another African person. Let's keep the money in the community. So whatever service I need, let me find some African person who can help me with that. But then we do need that tool to be able to find that person, and whether you can contact them by phone or through their website and start some business. So that economic intelligence, and it is something that we need to be pushing, I suppose. And people like yourself, ADJOA, you can also, with your experience that you've built on this industry, you can also mentor some other young entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs who are wanting to work into this industry, isn't it?
Absolutely. More than happy to. And I think you've rightfully mentioned on, I think it's about working together. And the example that you gave of this gentleman that gave you a whole list, it's about supporting one another and recognizing that there's talents that need to be known. It's about trust as well. And upbringing rather than dragging down, if that makes sense. So I think it would be wonderful for us to believe and trust and give each other chances, knowing that we can actually do better. We can do better. Yeah.
All right, we are reaching pretty much the end of this show. I don't think there has been any question, but more comments. It's a great presentation, sister. And there's a lady that says, ADJOA is one of my favorite makeup artists in Australia. So that's a great thing that you've been doing good work there. And the more you do, obviously, it does take time to build a business. It doesn't happen overnight. But slowly, gradually, if you do good work, if you offer good product or services, through word of mouth, people will tell others, and that will multiply. And with an aggressive marketing plan and appropriate tools for community awareness and marketing, I think we will get there. We just need to be really more motivated in our communities to go for entrepreneurship and business. We have to create economic power, and that starts with each and every one of us supporting others. Whatever money you have and for whatever service you have, first see if you can get someone from the community to attend to that. And for ladies, I know your makeup is obviously very important, even though COVID is, making that a little a little harder. But all the ladies there in African communities, when you start, needing makeup again, we hope this COVID will go away soon, or even if it does, at least we'll have a little bit. Even if it doesn't, we will have at least more freedom to go out rather than be locked down in multiple instances. So we hope that things will go back to normal. And when you think makeup, what you can trust on, you can trust in getting some of that need to be attended to by people like ADJOA and others who may be in the community. ADJOA, what would be your last word before we finish? What would be your last message?
Look, so I look my last word, I don't know if it's a word, but I think this it's going to be a sentence, if that's okay. So
yeah,
I think
it's a message.
It's about knowing that there's services out there for you that includes you. It's about knowing that there is makeup that suits you, and if there isn't makeup that suits you, there's education around there where you can grasp how to decide or how to choose makeup or cosmetics or skincare products that's actually right for you. And I'm available on all social media platforms. I've got Instagram, I've got Facebook, I've got website as well. exceptionalmakeup.com is the website, and Facebook is at Exceptional Makeup, and Instagram as well is the same. You can contact me as well if you simply want advice on what products you can choose. I'm happy to give you advice. If you want skincare advices, I can give you this. So anything makeup or anything skin, like anything about looking good or feeling great about yourself, contact me, and I'll be more than happy to give you the best advice that I can give you, that I would give myself, because you are me. And if I feel great in the things that I use for myself, I know that you're going to feel great in the things that I advise you to use for yourself as well.
Absolutely. And if you can't remember ADJOA's websites or Facebook, internet, or whatever other platform, contact us. We will pass those details to you. That's one way to support each other in passing on details. Whenever you see someone who needs that sort of service that she's offering, the product she's offering, well, recommend them, because that economic empowerment will come back to you in some ways. If we have a stronger and wealthier community, all of us will be much better. All right. Thank you very much, ADJOA, for your time tonight. We would obviously want to continue to talk about this more, but we're out of time. We hope to have a future opportunity to discuss more of your journey into the entrepreneurship and the cosmetic industry. We appreciate your time to have African Knowledge tonight.
Thank you for having me. It's been such a pleasure. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And
good
for
night.
all of you, bye-bye. For all of you watching, as always, we recommend that you share this video through your network. That's, again, one way to support what we're doing. We know we're talking about support. It is very crucial. Whenever you see something that you like in the community, ask yourself, what can I do to support this? It could be a simple gesture as just sharing a video on your platform. You don't know who's going to watch that. And if that act is multiplied, other people do share, then the impact goes greater. People get more educated, they get better informed, and the education and the information are a critical ingredient for progress in every community. And if you know something that you want to share with the community, whether that is in business or in other areas, African Knowledge is a show that we've initiated here at Africa Media Australia to just do that, help you to share knowledge, insight, experience, wisdom, and we would more than be happy to welcome you on our platform to discuss what you know. Until next time, subscribe on our YouTube channel and click the notification bell so you are notified when we go live. Do the same on Facebook page. You like it, and click on the notification bell and share and talk to your friends about what we're doing. And we think that you will always be receiving whatever we can get here that is good to share with the community. Until next time, stay safe with this COVID and stay blessed. Thank you.